Hey, what is up, guys? This is Larry, and today is another episode of what I'm calling Candid Finance. It used to be called Questions Answered, but I think Candid Finance is more of, in touch of what I'm actually trying to get at here. But basically, I just take any kind of personal finance question or topic or any kind of business related topic that anybody wants to talk about, or even, something I've been thinking about for myself, and just talk about it in an unedited, unscripted type way. Hopefully, without any edits at all, but there might be some minimal edits because I'm sure no one wants to hear me, take a sip of water from, every now and then. But for today, I want to talk about how ego and pride can kind of end up costing you financially, either in your YouTube channel as well, or even in your own career path. And why, and I want to give a personal story that really illustrates why that's relevant. But basically what happened was I used to work at Starbucks a long time ago, and there was an incident where this lady came in and was just screaming and yelling because after she had checked out her order through the drive-thru, she claimed anyways that I stole her credit card and that I didn't give it back to her. And at the time I was just like really in shock because I had never been accused of anything, that severe before. But on top of that, she had said she had a receipt but didn't have her credit card, which to me just was like, that was impossible because the way, especially when you're working in a drive-thru, it's more, you're trying to be as efficient as possible. So if I'm going to give you your receipt, I'm going to give you your credit card at the same time. So that way it's one less time I have to work out the window. So I just knew that there's no way that, I stole her credit card. I knew she had it somehow. And so my manager went out and, tried to calm her down. And then they went to her car, started searching through it. And sure enough, after a couple of minutes, they ended up finding her credit card, and she didn't even say anything. As soon as they found the credit card, which just kind of had slipped in between the cracks of the chair and the door, she just left. She didn't say anything. She didn't apologize. And my manager came in and just kind of said, hope you're doing all right. Just let it go and move on. And, obviously in that moment, I could have just blown up as well. I could have got frustrated. I could have, gotten mad at her and yelled back at her, yelled at my manager for not having my back. But and this kind of parallels with another story of a friend who basically had a similar incident where, I guess there's a lot of crazy customers that come into Starbucks. But anyways, someone had come in yelling at him, and basically he got frustrated and didn't want to back down. And they ended up yelling back and forth, and we finally got the customer out of the door. But at the end of the day, the guy was fired. And so, that just kind of illustrated how ego and pride kind of got in his way and ended up costing his job, which is unfortunate for sure. But, there's certain instances where it's just a little bit more beneficial in your life, either financially or even for a YouTube channel, as another good example of where you just can't let ego or pride get in the way. And kind of to relate it back to YouTube, here's another good example is that, there's this mid-size, I'm not trying to start any YouTube hate here or anything, but there's this mid-size, maybe about 500,000 or a little bit more than that as far as subscriber count, that's a finance channel that I don't necessarily kind of agree the way he approaches certain things. And at the beginning of my YouTube channel, I decided, I'm never going to comment on this guy's channel because I don't really agree with how he approaches things. Nothing he was saying was really bad or anything like that. It's just like I just didn't agree with his approach. And after kind of giving it some thought for a couple of weeks, I realized, in the end, it's only hurting me, right? The guy is going to be successful regardless of if I leave a comment or not. And so if I leave a comment on his channel, it's probably more beneficial to me, and it's not really impacting him one way or another. And, that's the same thing right now as well with, I try my best to comment and give full watch time to everybody that I'm subscribed to. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that they never come back and stop by my channel, or they never comment or watch any of my videos. And that's totally fine because at the end of the day, I can't control what other people do. And sure, I can let ego and pride kind of get frustrated and, only watch, don't leave a comment on them and unsubscribe to them. But at the end of the day, why is that going to benefit me? It takes me 2 seconds to pull up a tab, let it play all the way through and leave a comment and a like. It's like that takes 2 seconds out of my day. So what am I gaining by letting ego and pride kind of get in the way of that, especially if they have 1,000 subscribers or more than that? Then there's no real reason why I shouldn't leave a comment on there. And so kind of to go back to the Starbucks story for a minute and to kind of end this whole video and wrap it up, the lady actually did end up coming back into the store about 2 days later. And I wasn't at the store at the time, but she did end up saying, leave this message for the guy I yelled at. Basically, I had just gotten laid off. I was very frustrated and, I'm just kind of desperate. I didn't know what I was going to do on my way home. I just decided, the last thing I want to do is just get a Starbucks drink just to brighten up my day after getting fired. And, this was kind of just a cherry on top of it for her for that day. And she just kind of lost it once she thought that I took her credit card. And after hearing that story, it kind of just really illustrates my whole example of, if you don't really know what other people's full backstory is, right? Back to the YouTube channel, maybe this guy that I don't necessarily want to comment on his channel, maybe he actually really is trying to accomplish something very noble. Maybe he has very noble goals in the back of his mind. Or kind of another way to put it, a lot of us kind of feel, and probably like, you get jealous or envious at times, right? We see other people grow at a faster rate, and we may get envious of that. But at the same time, if we knew some kind of backstory where it's like, oh, well, they started a channel because they got laid off and they're about to lose their home or something like that, we'd probably be a little bit more sympathetic towards that. But if it was like some kind of other example, we always kind of assume the worst, that, oh, this guy is just trying to grow a channel and kind of take shortcuts and, make $1 million or something like that. And it's like, maybe why do we have to assume the worst? We can assume the best, because hopefully we can grow the community in a better way. It's just a better outlook in life, or at least that's kind of my approach. And like I said, there's kind of a financial consequence to having ego and pride get in the way, like the guy, he lost his job that I was talking about. So anyways, that's it for this video. I just kind of wanted to, just something I've been thinking about a little bit lately. If you have any other personal finance or business topics or anything like that you want to talk about, leave a comment down below and I'd be more than happy to talk about, as long as I can kind of tie it back to finances somehow. And if you like business, personal finance, or economics or economic debate videos, I was supposed to post one yesterday, but I kind of missed that. But that is coming out pretty soon. But anyways, if you like anything like that, hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more.